Hello from Myrtle Beach. Today we are going to take a walk on the beach on Labor Day weekend, show you all the crowds, all the fun, all the people out here in this beautiful weather having a great day. Hi, I'm Carmen. If you're new here, we cover everything Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area. And if you're a return viewer, welcome back. We are so glad to have you with us today. So it is so nice today. You couldn't ask for better weather here on this Labor Day weekend. It is just so beautiful. It's very hot. Not gonna lie, it's very hot. And saw in the news they're saying we're having sort of record level crowds for Labor Day, because you may have seen our previous video about September and crowds. If you didn't, I will link that in the description below. Everything you need to know about September in Myrtle Beach. I mentioned Labor Day is not crazy, and it still isn't. It is still nothing like 4th of July or Memorial Day or the more packed times, but I would believe that we are getting way more people this year. It definitely seems a whole lot busier. I mean, this is the most people I've seen in the ocean since the 4th of July. This is a lot of people. Not that we're at the beach every day, but we go pretty frequently since we live here. And so, yeah, this is definitely a lot of people. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up or a like. That really helps other people find our videos, and that in turn helps us, and we are so grateful for that. Also, if you want to keep up with everything going on in the Myrtle Beach area, definitely hit that subscribe button so you won't miss anything new, because we put out 2 videos every week, or I should say most weeks, pretty much every week. Sometimes we even put 3 out depending on what's going on, and keep you up to date on everything. We cover all the entertainment, all the places you want to go eat. We've got a new eating video coming out very soon, actually probably more than one, and we cover all the attractions. We talk about some hotels, and we also just give tours around Myrtle Beach and point out the things you don't want to miss. So we get a lot of questions. So I'm gonna walk up here for just a second, not long, because this squishy sand's harder to walk in. But I want to show you this umbrella line. Sometimes we'll be out here and people say, well, where are all the umbrellas? Where are the people? But I mean, you can see there's people, but you don't see the sea of umbrellas. They are all up here, and there's a reason for that. In the city of Myrtle Beach, you are not allowed to, and in most of the beaches in this area, so even if you're south or north of here, you're not allowed to put up an umbrella beyond the lifeguard line. If you're wondering where that line is, it's where these rental umbrellas, these yellow, blue, and green umbrellas, those are rental umbrellas. And so wherever that line is and wherever you see the lifeguard stand, you have to be in line with it or behind it. But also, let's see if we can squeeze through right here. I want to show you these cones back here, because this is important too, especially on these busy days like this. And of course there's no cones back here. That figures. There's usually cones. They may be knocked over. Right there you can see the cones, those orange cones. You have to be in front of that line because they use emergency vehicles in this lane right here. So you definitely want to be in front of that line so that you are not blocking those emergency vehicles, and also, frankly, just so you know they don't run over you or your belongings. So definitely get behind that line, because that could be dangerous. And then we're going to go back down here to the more firm sand, because it's just a lot easier to walk, and keep checking out. So right now, as you can see, we're at pretty low tide. It's not, I don't think it's at the lowest point, but this is more low tide than high tide, because we get other comments like that on some of our other videos, and people say, why does the beach look so tiny? Myrtle Beach must have lost its beach. As you can see, it has not lost its beach. It just depends on where the tide is. Some days we film and it is high tide, and that makes the beach look substantially smaller. It's a huge difference in the water. Some beaches are a bit bigger seeming, at least, than others. It depends on what area you're in. For example, a lot of times if the tide's out, Garden City Beach to me looks huge. Huntington Beach State Park, which is down Murrells Inlet, their beach looks huge. So some do look bigger than others, but Myrtle Beach still has plenty of beach. No worries there. So if you visited Myrtle Beach on Labor Day weekend, let us know in the comments below, not just this year, but in any year, have you visited Myrtle Beach on Labor Day weekend? Or do you go somewhere else? Is Labor Day weekend a travel weekend for you? Or do you, for example, have kids or something and you just rather stay home? When we did not live here, before we moved here, we used to come here a lot on Labor Day weekend, because, like I said, usually it's not that crowded. And it's not. Like I said, it's not like the other big holidays, and it's not like the full summer crowds. But now that seems to have changed. It seems really crowded. I think people are different now. In the last few years, everything's changed. And I feel like people are traveling more during the school year than they used to, either because their kids can, do remote schoolwork or whatever the reason. I do think there's a lot more people that are traveling, in the what used to be the off season. Let's talk about the weather here briefly. About Labor Day, it's hot. I mean, it's just straight up hot. There's no other weather to mention other than September is the peak of hurricane season here. The hurricane season is June through November. I mentioned that in our September video, so I'm not going to go into details about that. You can go back and watch that if you'd like. But otherwise, it's just straight up hot. But the weather throughout September, it varies. As the month goes on, it gets a little cooler, but not cold. I'm not talking cold. I'm just saying not as brutally hot. Like the heat index today is well over 100. I think the actual high is like 88 today, but with the heat, there is extreme humidity. It is a good 10 to 15 degrees hotter than the actual temperature most of the time in the summer, and that includes this time of the year as well. But the good thing I wanted to mention in September is the water stays plenty warm enough to swim. In fact, I believe it's sort of peaking temperature-wise right now. It's very, very warm, the water. When you first set your foot in, it's going to feel cool to you because you're out here in the 88 degree, day with the 100 and something real feel. But as soon as you get used to it after a second, it feels so nice. It's just like the perfect swimming temperature. We've got all these giant hotels over here. So Ocean Boulevard is right over there to my right on the other side of these hotels and resorts. What is your favorite resort to stay in when you're in Myrtle Beach? And also, do you stay in Myrtle Beach proper, or do you stay in North Myrtle Beach, Surfside Beach, Garden City, or somewhere else? Somewhere I didn't mention because there's a lot of other places. There's Litchfield Beach, there's Pawleys Island if you really keep going south. So there are all kinds of things. There's helicopter tours. There's one up there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Constant helicopter tours. There's a plane pulling a banner. It's impossible to read from here, but lots of different things showing you that it's still full. This weekend at least is full tourist season. So if you're wondering when to come to Myrtle Beach, when it won't be so crowded, it depends on your what level of crowds you're talking about. After Labor Day week, so not the coming week, there'll still be quite a few people, but after that week, it will definitely drop off. You will not see this number of people on the beach on a typical day. Maybe on the weekend when all the locals come out, but you're not going to see this level of crowding, and also the hotel rates will go down, which is another plus. But also if you want like really low crowds, I actually recommend you wait till after October. October's not bad. It's actually our favorite month here. It's not crowded, and the weather's still pleasant. But if you wait till November, if you don't care about it being warm and you just want it to be less crowded, I would wait till November. November, December, January, February, with probably January being the peak, are the peak lightest month, are the lightest months of the year. March, you start getting spring break students. So the college spring breaks are usually in March. So you start getting, no, it's not crowded, but you start getting people. Plus it's cold anyway in March, usually. It's pretty chilly. So if you're looking for warmer weather, you really have to wait till May to be sure. April's in the middle, but by mid-May, it's starting to really warm up. So there's lots of options if you're trying to decide when to come on your next trip here. If you'd like to learn more about Myrtle Beach and the surrounding area, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Labor Day, and have a great week. See you next time.